All right. Good morning, people. Let's get going. Send out a tweet as usual. Developing live on Twitch again, tackling a new CoverFlow view with game details today. Let's see. Come on, come on. There we go. And get the link in there. Okay. Send. All right. Hey guys, good morning. Hey Veltias, hey Critical Sid. So you got a little bit, Veltias. All right. Well, let's get started. But you know what? I'm gonna pray again this morning, because that helps me be calm and have confidence in going forward. So let's say a quick prayer. Lord, I thank you for the opportunity to do this as always, and I know that you're going to be with us this morning and help me to have the wisdom I need to be able to pull this stuff off. Just be with us. Give me the confidence and wisdom that I need, and peace, Lord. In your name we pray. Amen. All right. So today, the plan, if I haven't shared enough already, is to implement a new CoverFlow view with the details either beneath it or above it. And on Monday we implemented the clear logo view for the games list. That went well. I cleaned that all up yesterday. Just put out a new beta for that. So really the last big view we need before the 6.0 release is to clean up that horizontal box art view, because it's crappy and I don't like it, and other people don't either. So, and I'll show you what I mean here. I just refreshed all my images again, so of course it's going to be playing catch up. This isn't the view we want. So we got the CoverFlow view here, which is great. I love it. But for people who want game details, obviously we need to shrink the CoverFlow down and put it up either up top or down beneath, and have the game details come up somewhere else on the screen. So this is the view that we want to replace. I don't like the way we're presenting the box art up here on top. It just doesn't work very well, because the boxes get cut off on the right, and it's just kind of crappy. The caching system also doesn't work very well. So, as you can see there. So anyways, that's what we're going to work on today. So let's get started with that. Hey, DJ. All right. Now in Big Box, under View Models, the current view model for the horizontal boxes is this. I think it's the boxes games view model. So we need to switch that stuff out. I think the easiest way to do it. Hey, K Money. I think the easiest way to do this. Oh, by the way, guys, I'm streaming right now in 1080p. I upgraded it from 720p. Hopefully that's working for you guys. Of course, I've been recording at 1080p the whole time, but I haven't been streaming at 1080p. I've been streaming at 720p. But I'm trying to stream at 1080p and just to see if it works for everybody, because obviously it's kind of important, because that way you'll be able to read the code and it won't be blurry for you. So let me know how this is working, if everybody can read the code now, and then also if anybody has any bandwidth issues, not being able to download things quick enough or any of that stuff. So give me some feedback on that, and if we have issues, we can revert to 720p for next time. But I think it'd be much better to be able to pull off the 1080p if we can. All right. So let's start with the view itself. We are going to want to change. I'm wondering if we should just create a new one though, because we're going to want to change the name of it anyways. Although it would be easy enough to just rename this one. We're going to be combining probably actually as far as the model, the closest thing we're going to need, the closest thing we're going to use is this wheel games view model, because most things are going to be very similar in the wheel games view model. So I'm thinking, let's copy this to a new class, call it something different. I think I'm going to call it CoverFlow with Details Games View Model. Well, I'm glad it's working great, DJ. All right. Copy this guy. Okay. And we're going to call this CoverFlow with Details Games View Model. All right. And then rename this class CoverFlow with Details. CoverFlow with Details Games View Model. Bingo. And then Veltaya says, I'm a full-time C# dev at work right now, doing C# dev while watching C# dev. Yeah. Man, when I was doing full-time development, like consulting, I didn't even know that you could watch people program on Twitch. It's really awesome. I didn't even know you could do that. I can imagine it's really good for. It would have been really good for me in the past, just because I get lonely every once in a while I'm developing by myself. You know, not even just streaming, but watching other people could be really, really nice to have when on those days when you feel like you just can't get anything done, or you're just like down because you're stuck on a problem, especially. What are you developing, Veltayas? Am I saying your name right? Okay, CoverFlow with details games view model. And I'm going to copy for the view we're actually going to copy the, what was it? Boxes games view. Boxes games view. Copy that guy. Need to wake my voice up. And this becomes game CoverFlow with details games view. There we go. And we got to change the classes. CoverFlow with details games view. You guys hear my son screaming down there? Games view. The waste industry. Ah, cool. Are you in or cool? I don't know. I don't know if it's cool or not. Is it cool? Yeah, yeah, I would imagine you will. And I'm sure there's some pretty extensive software involved in waste management too. There's a lot to manage, that's for sure. It's a big problem to solve. Okay, so that's covered. This is covered. Hopefully we build now, although we'll want to change some of this stuff up. Lots of routing, real-time GPS, contracts, reports, billing. Sure, makes sense. GPS stuff is cool. That's interesting. I've done lots of routing. I've done contracts, reports, billing in my professional life before LaunchBox. I don't think I've ever done the GPS stuff. I did quite a bit of mapping using Google Maps, online generating reports from Google Maps and all that stuff. That was kind of fun. But I never got into actual GPS. Lots of coordinate stuff though. So maybe it's the same thing. For all I know, I did do lots of address coordinates stuff with that kind of thing. But no live GPS satellite fun stuff. That's kind of cool. Routing. By routing, do you mean like finding the best way to get from point A to point B? Because that would be really neat. Okay, we build, and instead of the list box up top, we want the cover flow instead of this guy. So we're going to copy the cover flow from our cover flow games view. This guy right here. And we're going to copy that to this one. Import the types. Now for this we have this grid. The row should be 1 and the column, oops, grid.column, if I could type, equals 1 as well. We might want to adjust some of that stuff later, but for now that should get us the control. And let's plug this new view in, because I think it might be sort of semi-functional already, and then we can just tweak. Route optimization, assigning trucks to routes, adding service calls, etc. Ah, sure, that makes sense. So there's lots of strategy involved in that for sure. That's cool. How big of a team do you have? All right. So in our main, no, first off, in our games list views, we need a new one. I'm going to go ahead and take out horizontal boxes with details because it sucks. And we're going to add a new one called CoverFlow with details equals CoverFlow with details. And I'm just going to move this guy up. CoverFlow with details. And we're going to need a new string. CoverFlow with details. And I'm going to rename this one to full screen CoverFlow so that we can differentiate between the two. And I need my strings, value, full screen CoverFlow, full screen CoverFlow, and CoverFlow with details. Value CoverFlow with details. There we go. Good to go there. Oh, that's funny. Why did I put spaces in there for those? Oh well. Too late to change it now. It doesn't matter. Matthias says only 6 people for like 10 million lines of code. Doesn't that just figure? Isn't that typical? Probably more code than that. That's just our core program alone. Wow. Yeah, I believe it. That's sadly common. Do you do a lot of extra hours? Okay, now in our main view, that's good. That's good, Veltias. No overtime. That's awesome. I remember when I was studying to be in college, studying to be a programmer. Everybody always told me, "Oh, programming is a stressful job where you always have lots of deadlines and you're always working overtime hours and you're always busting your butt." And yeah, if you're in a bad position, that's the way it is. And yeah, you get deadlines all the time, and I've had a lot of deadlines. But even when I was doing consulting jobs, if you know what you're doing, you shouldn't be having to put in a bunch of extra hours all the time. I did put in extra hours every once in a while, but really didn't have that much trouble with that. So I need my main view model. That's what I'm looking for. Ah, okay. Well, cool. Thank you, Spectre. That's awesome. Yeah, man, your VLC thing. Seriously, that makes a huge difference, and that makes me really happy because now we can use the VLC engine in more spots going forward, such as like video backgrounds. There's been a lot of things I've been excited to do with the video engine, but we've had issues with both video engines. The Windows Media Player one is fast and it works usually, but there's lots of systems that have problems with it because of video card issues and all kinds of stuff. And then the VLC engine was just slow and kind of crappy. But so seriously, that's the best help I've received from the community in a very, very long time. So I really appreciate that. So, sure, hardware to solve. Yeah, well, I mean, I've never really been into the hardware side of things, but I've done a lot of hardware building, like personal computers for people and stuff like that, and myself. But um, I've always been more into the software side, and it sure seems to me like there's um, more opportunities there. But especially now, and the more and the farther it gets along, there's always going to be hardware stuff, but the uh, the farther we get along in the future, there's going to be more and more and more software opportunities, and I would say there's going to be less hardware opportunities because as platforms converge, you know, so that the software uses more of the same types of hardware, which I do think is happening and is going to continue to happen. I think software will continue to go up and hardware will always be around, but less so, I think. Oh, really? Okay. So I should look. Well, yeah. By the way, I did. I grabbed the source um, from GitHub. So that's what I'm using as of like 3 or 4 days ago. Whenever I downloaded that source, I used the source from GitHub. NuGet. I love the concept of NuGet, but man, or Nugget or however you're supposed to say it. But I never use that as my go-to source anymore because I've been screwed way too many times downloading an old version from NuGet and having no idea that there's all these wonderful new changes out there. So I go straight to GitHub when something's on GitHub these days. That makes sense. Yeah, it's software is the way to go. It really is. It's if you can get into it, if you're passionate about it, and you enjoy doing it, then software will have you made. It's a great, great, great industry. All right, main view model. We need to initialize games view. Um, if the view is CoverFlow with details, CoverFlow with details games view model. And then we scroll down and this is where we switch to the next one. From CoverFlow, we're gonna go to CoverFlow with details, and then var CoverFlow with details model equals this.activeView model as CoverFlow with details games view model. If CoverFlow with details model is not equal to null, I'm going to copy this to save myself some trouble. CoverFlow with details model. CoverFlow with details model. CoverFlow with details model. There we go. And then so going from CoverFlow with details, we got text, we got CoverFlow with details, we got CoverFlow, we got vertical clear logo wheel. What am I missing? Vertical clear logo wheel, CoverFlow. We don't have, okay, I've got this duplicated. We have text list. And what am I missing? Boxes. Okay, so we start with boxes and we go to text list. Actually, boxes games view model is going away. I've got too many here. So we get rid of this. We start with CoverFlow model and we go to CoverFlow with details. From CoverFlow with details, we go to, I'm going to say text list with details. If you're on the wheel, you go to CoverFlow And if you're on the text list, you go to vertical clear logo wheel. I think that'll do. There we go. Let's build it. Understanding how the hardware works helps with writing higher performance software, though. Absolutely. Yeah, it does. You got it. Yep. Yeah, and you probably got me beat in that department. I mean, the closest I've ever gotten to hardware is just building computers, building PCs. So, but even stuff like knowing how operating systems work and all that stuff helps too. I remember um, working with developers who don't have any experience as far as troubleshooting on PCs, have never fixed operating system issues, have never worked on a help desk, never dealt with hardware. They're frustrating to work with because they don't have the um, they don't have the they're just missing something huge. They don't get it. So yeah, I know what you mean. That's awesome. I did my most complicated thing that I did in college was to write a was to in Java emulate an entire computer and then write an assembly language or assembly, not compiler, it's not a compiler, an assembler um, for the virtual computer and do all that kind of stuff. And I enjoyed that. And of course, that did have basically, we were writing an operating system when we wrote applications for that. But it was very, very simple, very, very rudimentary, but it was still a really neat experience. And I loved it. I really loved it. But yeah, it's deep. Sure, it probably is. My professor was, his name was Dr. Eichhofer, and he was a NASA guy, an ex-NASA guy. Worked on a lot of the systems for the shuttles over the years. So it was really, he was a really great guy to have. And then my stupid rotten school fired him before I graduated. Pissed me off because he was fired for all the wrong reasons. He was an excellent prof. He was the best guy in the whole school. And my stupid school fired him, and I never graduated because I was so angry at the school. There we go. All right, so we built successfully. Moving on. Okay, so if we go into, hopefully we're not on a view that's going to cause us problems here, because we did get rid of that view. I didn't think about that. If somebody is on the view that we just got rid of from a beta, it could crash things. So we might need to do something about that. Games list is what I'm looking for. Yeah, you see how it was blank is because we were on a view that was inappropriate. So I'm glad it didn't error out. CoverFlow with details is what we want. And we'll go into NES. I don't know, let's do something small. Let's go into Wii. Yeah, there we go. We have the same error that we get every single time. We can't. I need to switch up the wheel games view to CoverFlow with details games view everywhere in my new model. So let's see. CoverFlow with details games view. We need to do a search and replace with wheel games view. Change that to CoverFlow games or CoverFlow with details games view. Yep. 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 Good. And we'll give it another shot. Seriously, man. You know, to be completely honest, school was actually really easy for me. And I think part of the reason for that it isn't because the biggest reason for that isn't because I was uh, just stupid smart. It's mostly because I went to a really easy school, and I wasn't challenged anywhere other than in my field, which is exactly what I wanted because I hate gen eds. Always hated gen eds. Um, so in that sense, it was a good thing. The gen eds were all super easy for me, and as far as development in college, I actually had a really easy time just because I'd been developing since I was 12 when I started going to college. So it was like you got people who hadn't really done any development in my classes with me, and I had been developing for 5 years. So college was almost too easy for me. I just flew by. Um, didn't really try very hard. Actually, my gen eds, I didn't go to class a lot. But yeah, I hated school, man. It's because I'm the kind of guy that wants to work on what I want to work on, and I want to be productive and create things now. And school just gets in the way of that. But I made it through 3.5 years of it, and I was 2 classes away from graduating, and I never did, never needed to. So I got the golden opportunities. They came without the hard part. Especially if you don't have a degree, the hard part is getting your foot in the door with a development position. But once you do that, if you're able to get your salary up, you're made. And praise the Lord, that's what happened for me. Whoa, look at that. Oh, we're on the. Of course. Okay. Our. Well, guys, it's working. We just got to switch up our CoverFlow stuff to use the different type of CoverFlow. For starters. Cool. Yeah, I've heard a lot of schools are like that. Yeah, thankfully, and it's one of the rare fields that that's the case for, man. There's so many fields that you have to have the stupid degree, and I think as time goes on for software in particular, maybe engineering too, I don't know, but software in particular, people are valuing that degree less and less and less. They don't care. They want talent, and that's the way it should be. So I'm happy about that. They want to see what you've built more than they want to see a degree, which is the way it should be. So the way we change this up is in the view, we change in our cover flow control. Well, we have the cover factory binding from the model, so we set the cover factory, and the image type continues to be box. So on our model, look for cover factory, and we see we're using the vertical cover factory. We need to change that to box art cover factory. Now this is where it gets interesting, because we can start tweaking this view. Oh, well that's it. Okay. So we have the new sort of what's going on. Oh, I know what was going on. All right. So we just need to change our image types now. But see, one thing that's going to be interesting about this is see how the shadows or the reflections are cut off at the bottom. I'm thinking it might be best to actually put the you know the cover flow stuff on the bottom and put all the details on top. because then it's not going to look weird in that regard. Another option would be to just get rid of the reflections, but that's kind of experimentation we're going to have to go through today to get all that stuff right. But first, we need to switch up the images. Where am I doing that? So box art, when we send over the images. Oh, no. This is image type is box, cover factory, binding cover factory. Update image. That's not what we're looking for. So when we add our games, our init, we are just adding the game. Oh, okay. It's right here. We're adding game true. That's the issue. That basically that tells it to use the clear logos instead of the box images. And there's one more spot I got to do that. And that's right here. And then we should end up with box images instead of the clear logos. Sure. Yeah, I think I'm going to try. I'd like to keep the reflections just because they really add something nice to the visuals. So if we can keep the reflections, I think that would be awesome. If not, then we can certainly get rid of them. But I want to try putting the boxes on the bottom and the details on top to see if we can keep those reflections. And of course, I mean, once we the cool thing about this system is it's going to be super easy to add another new view. Once we nail this type of view, it'll be super easy to add another one with the boxes on the bottom or the boxes on the top without the reflections and the details on the bottom, etc., etc. And then eventually, users will be able to do this themselves as far as the new views and moving things around and stuff like that. So that's exciting. But yeah, I want to try and keep the reflection if we can. We are built. Let's give it a run. Yeah, it was really quick building this view, so that's great. Of course, it's gonna take some tweaking yet, but for the most part, it's just there. So, okay, so here's the issue that one of the issues that we're dealing with. One of the things I'm going to have to tweak is the camera position for the cover flow, and then the number of cover flow items that show up, because the aspect ratio is completely different as far as displaying these. So that's tricky. That said, I think this is going to look really good once we get it right. But let's try putting it on the bottom. Sure. Hey, Guyver J. That makes sense. I think I agree. So let's go into our view. This is just a bunch of view tweaking. It shouldn't take too long. Thanks to XAML. All we're going to do is I'm going to move this guy down. Oops. Cut that down here. And we don't even need to do that, but to make it make more sense, we're going to do that. The next thing we're going to do is change. Actually, I'm going to get rid of the space on the bottom because we don't want that, and we also don't want the space on the sides. But we'll come back to that here in a second. For the we have to change a lot of this stuff, but we'll see how it goes here. The row now is going to be 3, 0, 1, 2, 3. and the column is gonna stay 1. And then for this grid, the row is going to be changed to 1. Now the other trick, the other thing we need to change, I know. Thanks for joining, Guyver. We got to get rid of this left and right padding in here. So, unfortunately, this means we're going to have to get rid of our columns and then add more spacing down below. So we're going to get rid of those columns. And then in our, this grid.column equals 1 no longer makes any sense. And same thing down here. And then in our child grid, which has our game details, we have to add some spacing on the left and the right for those. And we have our column definitions. So basically we need to add 2 more columns. Column definition width equals 3 for now. We'll try that on each side. Column definition width equals 3. And then when we specify where things are going, the grid column now needs to become 1 here, and then here the grid column now needs to become 3 instead of 2. And I think that'll do it. We need to probably make the details up top bigger and this down here smaller, so we'll try and do that here quickly. I'm just going to try a straight 30-30, 50-50. See how that works. Build it. Yeah. Yep. Uh-huh. I probably even should have Cody or other applications open while I do this for ideas. I know we've gotten lots of great ideas from you guys just from other apps. WeVids are 69 ratio versus 4:3 for pretty much everything else. Don't know if that will change positioning things or not. Sure, that's a good point. We should experiment with both types of videos. When modders work with XAML, will they have a view like in Visual Studio? They can, I think. That's a good question. Visual Studio actually has an Express edition that is free for people to use. So in theory, yes, if you know what you're doing, Visual Studio is a beast and it does require some training. But if you know what you're doing, you should be able to create this stuff in Visual Studio, yes. That's a lot of stuff we're going to have to experiment with. I don't know how that's necessarily all going to work without the parent project and all that stuff, but so it's not necessarily going to be the cleanest experience in the world until we figure some stuff out. But at the same time, yes, you can certainly do that. I think ultimately what we want to do is we want to create a Visual Studio project that we can distribute to everybody who wants to mod or come up with themes or whatever, and they can use that to build their custom stuff. Obviously, right now we don't have the modding engine, but I plan to add that sooner or later. Hopefully sooner. Let's try NES this time. Okay. So top and bottom. I keep forgetting that I need to switch up my arrows because right now it's up and down to go left and right and not left and right. And I'm not necessarily sold on the way we're presenting the details and the video up top, so we might want to change that some. but I think first I want to try and get the camera situated better for the cover flow, if we can pull that off. So that's what I want to experiment with next. See if we can tweak that camera. And that is going to be in controls, cover flow, flow control. Sure. Yeah. That's a great idea, K Money. Absolutely. Um, that's huge. That would be really good if we could do some tutorials on it. Absolutely. Visual Studio Code. What is the difference there, man? I'm trying to remember if I've even seen that before. Visual Studio Code. Code.visualstudio.com. Huh. What on earth? This looks like it's based on. Is this? Wow. It looks like it's based on. There's a text editor. I'm trying to remember what it's called. That's cool though. I didn't even know this existed. But yeah, it looks very, very different and simpler. That's cool. Neat. Man, MS is really stepping up its game lately. I'm really, really happy with where things are going development-wise. That's cool. Neat, 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 neat. Oh, that's beautiful. Electron, sure. Well, no wonder it looks so similar to the text editors that I've seen. I'm willing to bet um, I think I recognize the project that they stole some stuff from because it looks just like one of the famous more popular newer text editors out there. I'm trying to remember what the name of it is though. I can't remember. Yeah, sure. High stacking. Um, yeah, I don't remember what that text editor is called, but if anybody knows what the text editor I'm referring to is called that looks just like that, um, let me know. I just can't remember what it's called. Anyways, okay, camera. Adam, sure. It it's not the one I'm thinking of, but I'm guessing it's very similar too. Yeah, I know what you mean. There's another one though. Sorry guys, I wasn't remembering properly that Adam was a text editor. My fault. All right, camera, camera, camera. So camera dot position. Now I'm thinking if we change up the z axis, that's forward and back, and we take it back, I'm thinking that's possibly going to fix things for us. We'll have to take a look. It's a start. Now, when we initialize camera, actually, I think this is in the actual XAML. Here's the camera. Okay. Field of view. Okay, sure. Near plane distance. So we have these, all this stuff we can tweak for the perspective. That makes a whole lot of sense. However, we're going to need this stuff as options. But before we do that, I think I'm just going to hard code some differences here. Position 003. So I think that's XYZ. So the z-axis is 3 right now. Let's change that up. Let's try saying this dot camera dot position equals, how are we doing it down here? I'm going to copy this. And I'm going to change the z-axis to, I'm going to try 10 and see what happens. Now this is going to affect every other view right now as well. So this is going to jack up all the views. Hopefully not to the point where it's not usable. This should be fun and interesting to see. Yeah, look at that. There we go. Cool. Cool, Veltius. It's been fun, man. I'll see you around. Thanks for joining. Emacs. No, not Emacs. That is one text editor that I have never been able to use. My wussy choice on Linux has always been Nano. Although VI I've played with as well. All right. Get in here. Yeah, look at that. So changing the perspective like this does let us shrink it down. But then the issue that we're dealing with is that we need more on either side. So we can experiment with this. Well, at least now I know what to change to get it to work. Cool. Progress. So I think we're going to keep hard coding this and mess up all the other views. And then once we figure out exactly what we need to change, we can separate it out so that it's not affecting the other views. I'm going to try changing this to 5, and we'll see what we get. All right, and we'll go into NES. Hey, that's looking better. Sure, we have the issue of the fan art as well, making the reflections look crappy. So we do need to fix that issue somehow or other. And I think I'm going to try and just fade it off to black at the bottom to resolve that. But obviously that just makes everything look horrible. The fan art behind the reflection. But I think that's starting to look decent as far as the size of things. I want to take it up though and see how big we can get before it starts getting cut off. We might actually want to reduce the size of the stuff up top as well. Because the boxes, I feel like the boxes need to be bigger than that. That's not big enough. We could do that. That makes sense. K-Money. Make them clear logos instead of the name. Yeah, it is. I agree. That would be cool. So yeah, we could certainly do that. Yeah. We got plenty of time to tweak stuff. It's only 10:30. We got a couple hours yet. So things are going better than I thought. So that's great. And then I've got the rest of the day to tweak this stuff. And then basically Thursday and Friday, I want to focus on bug fixes and getting ready for the 6.0 release. Okay, and keeping Rocket Launcher in that hyperspin thread, by the way. So I need to see that thread, DJ Quad. Um, that's important. Yeah. What do you what do you mean by keeping Rocket Launcher? Like people using Rocket Launcher with LaunchBox, I assume. That's what you mean. If you can link me to that thread, that would be awesome. I'd appreciate that. Um, we're gonna try a camera position of 4. Thank you. Hello, wake up. There we go. Yeah, that's not too bad. I keep confusing myself with the using left and right. I need to fix that, obviously. There we go. Yeah, that's a good size. I think if we reduce the size um, of the stuff up top a little bit, I think that would be good. And I think we're going to want to rearrange a lot of those details, the way things look, as far as what shows up on the screen. I'm going to want to change that stuff up a little. And then we need to add more on the left and right. Well, I love to see that kind of discussion. That's awesome. So I think we'll stick with 4. Let's go to our view. I tell you what, guys, working on the big box stuff, I never could have predicted how much it has excited people and grown our user base. Ever since we started doing these new views in big box, things have exploded, and it's awesome. Very, very cool. Thank you, DJ Quad. Oh, the thread on hyperspins stuff. Sure. Gotcha. I remember that now. Sure, about getting a LaunchBox plugin in there for Rocket Launcher. Cool. Yeah, I would love for that to happen. I'm still um, at the Hyperspin forums. There's a buzz about Big Box. That's huge. Yay! 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 That makes me so happy. Woohoo! Because I mean, that's what I want to do. I want to replace. I would love to get the entire Hyperspin community over on LaunchBox and Big Box. That's been like a dream from the beginning. So huge, huge wins in the past couple weeks, thanks to you guys, and you know, the more community stuff, the live streams and everything have really helped as well. So I'm really excited. Okay, moving on. We want the view. I'm in LaunchBox. That's the problem. I need my CoverFlow with details games view, and I need to adjust my row heights here. I'm going to make this maybe 20. Let's try 24. Let's see what we get. Okay. That's looking better. Cool. Yeah, I think that's decent for size. So we can stop tweaking the size. I think the next thing we need to tweak is to get it to expand to the left and the right edge. Add more extra boxes. And honestly, I'm not sure how to do that yet, so we're going to have to experiment with that a little bit as far as getting those boxes to expand both sides. First off, though, let's stop screwing up everything else. Let's go to the code here, the camera Z index, the cover factory. Well, this is pointless because cover factory is always going to be blank in the constructor, null in the constructor. So let's change this just to 0.2 times this dot index. Okay. Actually, you know what? I'm going to make this 0. And then what we can do is when the cover factory is set, we can change the camera position to match a new cover factory setting. So cover factory base, I'm going to add an abstract. What's the data type we're working with here for that? It's a double, public abstract double Z position. And we'll do a get there. If FreeSharper stops fighting me. There we go. Okay. I think the concern with some people over at Hyperspin is there's not an official plugin for LaunchBox for Rocket Launcher. Yeah. If you already have Rocket Launcher set up for Hyperspin, it only takes a few minutes to set it up for LaunchBox. True. And one of the issues I'm running into is I'm not, I don't even know how to set this up properly for LaunchBox. I know I've done it. I've taken a look at it, but I need to take a day, sit down and play with it, and so I know how everything works. I know DJ Quad sent me the setup for it, so that's huge. Or no, was it DJ Quad? I'm sorry, I don't remember who it was. I think it was DJ Quad. I think so. I need to get that, play with it, and figure that stuff out. It's possible I could build a plugin for Hyperspin. I'm not sure, or I mean for Rocket Launcher. I'm not sure if that would be better tackled by me or by the community. I really don't know. It depends on how much work it's going to be to build the plugin, and then also, I mean, what language it supports and all kinds of stuff. I'm guessing it's in C++. Thanks, DJ. It'd be a good idea to get with DJ VJ over at Rocket Launcher to get an official plugin made. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, I need to talk to him. I can hop on one of those threads. I can do that. So remind me if I forget, but hopefully later on today after the call, there I go again, after the live streaming session, I can start that conversation going. All right, so we added our Z position abstract double in cover factory base. Now, in all our cover factories, they have to implement that. So, public override double Z position. The default was 3. So that's our vertical, our simple, which we're not really using anymore. This was for the box art view and didn't work. The horizontal box art view that we just replaced. That's okay. We'll keep it in here just in case we ever want to come back to it and tweak it. Override double Z position 3. And then, so that's vertical, we've done simple, and we have box art. And I think we set that to 4. There we go. All right. So close out of our cover factories. And then here, we're going to get rid of this line. We're actually going to move this to when we set our cover factory. I am going to set this.camera.position, new point 3D, this.camera.position.x, this.camera.position.y, and then we set, we have our value, which is a cover factory base, and we set the Z position from the cover factory base. And now we'll be able to specify different Z indexes depending on the type of view it is. And hopefully, if we start it up, it should no longer mess with the other views. Yep, there we go. Proper size there. By the way, that I did notice that I think the reason for that is just because the image has a bunch of extra space in it, and we just need to fix that image. So that's on my list. NES. Uh-oh, I messed it up somehow. What did I do? Box art cover factory. Oh, you know what? The other issue here is that depending on the... I should have thought about that. We don't want to change the index for everything, for all the box art stuff. The full screen stuff should stay the same. Maybe we're going to have to set a property on the... poo. I just wasted all that time. That was stupid. Okay, well here we go. Let's undo this stuff. Should be easy to take it out. Cover factory base. Get rid of this. Simple cover factory. And vertical cover factory. All right. Sorry for that, guys. I wasn't thinking. So, and then on the flow control, what we can do is we can add a property on the flow control itself, and then in the particular view, you can specify it. So, in my flow control, I'm just going to say public double Z position get. Yeah. We're gonna need, and I forgot, in order to add the property, it's a royal pain in the butt. So I'm gonna have to do a bunch of extra crap for that too. So let's copy what we've got here. We gotta do this dependency property crap in order to be able to do it in the XAML. Z position property equals dependency property dot register Z position type of double, if I could type of flow control. And then when we set this stuff, return double this dot get value flow control dot Z position property. And setting it, this dot set value flow control dot Z position property value, and then look, no, I'm mistaken. Okay, so then in theory we can set the value, or set that to the actual value instead this time. Okay. In theory that'll work. I hope. We shall see. Now in our I wonder if we're going to have a default here, but we'll find out. So in our CoverFlow details games view and it's on the bottom, isn't it? CoverFlow. We need to add a new property here called Z position, and we're going to set that to 4. What's the issue? If I build, hopefully that'll go away. Okay. Here goes. So obviously things are correct by default, but it seems like it's not working to change it for some reason, and I'm not sure why that is. I'll have to take a look. Position. There's one other spot we're doing the camera position. I'm going to change this up to use this dot Z position. I'm afraid that's going to default to 0. So this dot Z position equals the default of 3. We'll see what we get there. There it is. Good. All right. And if we switch this view, looking good. Works for me. All right. Progress. So next, we need to try and get the boxes to extend. And this is going to be tricky, but it's in the flow control somehow or other. Half realized count. I'm curious if I change this to, say, 15, if that makes a difference. I sort of doubt it, I sort of don't. We'll see. Fine, let's go we. Nah, it doesn't make any difference. Or it does. Look at that. It goes to the end. Awesome. So let's go into NES, something that has more games. And it fills the screen. Woohoo! That was easy. That's awesome. That's awesome, awesome, awesome. Cool. Okay. Now, this, unfortunately, we can't change for everything, though. So again, this needs to be a property. And it can't be a constant. So what we're going to have to do is the same thing we just did. We need to do another dependency property for half realized count property equals dependency property dot register half realized count type of int type of flow control. Okay. Then public int half realized count get return int this dot get value flow control dot half realized count property set this dot set value flow control dot half realized count property value. Okay, and now interesting, page size is going to have to change as well. Public int page size. It's set to half realized count. Interesting. All right, fine. This dot page size equals value as well. Whatever. And then the default, this dot half realized count equals the default of 7. Is there a UI for typing with a control in Big Box like in Steam controller? No, there isn't. Unfortunately, and that's, I mean, I created the pin system instead of a password system. Well, for one thing, that's nicer for passwords to have the pin system. When you're dealing with controls, you don't want to type in a whole password. But yeah, right now, the reason why we haven't implemented a search in particular is just because it's going to be a pain in the butt to implement an on-screen keyboard. But obviously we're going to need that, so that is planned. It's just I've been delaying it because it's such a pain to build an on-screen keyboard. Okay, so that's set. Now we have our half realized count property, and in our games view we can say half realized count equals 12. I'm going to try 12 and see if that covers it. And we'll build it. And in theory, uh-oh. Oh, sure, I see. Okay. Well, that's simple there. We might have a little bit of restructuring issues here. Let's do a search and replace on flow control dot page size to this dot page size. Replace all, and then half realized count to this dot half realized count. Oops. I guess let's do match whole word, replace all. And build it, see if we build. Okay. Give it a run. All right. Just check to make sure it's working here. Yep. Extends to the edge of the screen. Good, good, good. Now, I'm not in love with the way this looks, but it's a start. I think yeah, I don't know. As far as the details on top, we definitely want the video. We're already cutting off a lot of the information. We're going to want to change up the game details view for sure, I think. The other thing it would be nice to show in here is to show what view it is. Because right now, we're not showing the platform or anything like that either. But obviously, we need to restructure that top part for sure. Cool, I'll take a look, Sid. Actually, let's catch up on some of these comments. Veltias. Get back to work, Veltias. No, just kidding. Let me pull up that link. Oh, interesting. What on earth? This is how Steam does it. What the heck? To be honest, I hate that approach. I've never played with that in Steam. People like that? That just makes it seem like that would be super difficult to type. Like you got to reinvent your everything in order to figure that out. I like Microsoft's 360 and Xbox One solution where they just put the keyboard on the screen. Because like for that you're going to be hunting and pecking. And so I mean again when I pull up a keyboard on the screen in Xbox or Xbox One, it's still, I mean, it's a pain to have to switch between all the letters, but at least I know where every letter is located by default. I don't know. I'd have to play with it, try and use it. That's weird. Okay. The video needs to be right aligned or something. Yeah, for sure. I like the concept of doing 3 columns. I had that in my head as well. Let's take a look at this link from Sid. So this is what Kodi does. Interesting. Okay. They have the image or video on the right, so 3 columns, and then do different stuff in the other 2. I like that concept. Let's try and pull that off. Hey, the Great White Moose, welcome. Thanks for joining. So yeah, let's try and do a 3-column format. This is going to be a little bit tricky because the game details view, unfortunately, is combined everywhere else, so we're going to need a new one, ultimately, is what that means. If we look at our CoverFlow game details view model, we have this where's details? Come on. Interesting. Where do I set the details? Is it in the base? It must be. Oh, it's because I've got that selected. Of course. We have this game details view model. And the game details view model right now isn't going to let us change that stuff up because it's being used elsewhere. So we're going to have to duplicate this and create a new one. So unfortunately, that's not necessarily going to be quick, but it needs to be done so that it's flexible going forward. So ba on that, but I guess let's get started with that. Well, Tyus, I think summary section auto scrolls if there's a lot of content there in the Kodi screen. That makes sense. That would be nice to have for sure. Eon Noxskin does it like this. Let me take a look. Material design skin, the best for Kodi. You want to link me to an image of that? Do you have that, Veltias? All right. So this is the Eon Knox stuff. Sure. That's a little busy. And I think it's going to be better to be able to split it into 3 columns, to be honest. I think so. All right. Then so the Great White Moose, basically, I'll show you. We're building a new view in Big Box. I'll load it up here so you can see it. A new games list view. This is the work in progress we got going. Obviously, it needs a lot of tweaking yet, but it's working. We're working on building a CoverFlow view with details, ultimately. Okay. So we need to implement a game details view model base and all that stuff. Unfortunately, yeah, let's add a new folder called Game Details View Models. And we're going to move this in here. And we're going to rename this Game Details View Model Base. And I'm going to save us some time and name the new one just Game Details View Model. Base. And then we're going to add a new class called Game Details View Model. Change the namespace, public, and it's a Game Details View Model base. Then we need a constructor. Let's let ReSharper do it for us. Just like that. Bingo. So now we're able to tweak this stuff. And we can add a new one. Let's fix that. All right. So we're going to add a new game details view model. What are we going to call it? 3-column game details view model. Well, let's, you know what though? I need to check something here quick. If we take a look at because the image video and the game details are actually separate. They're different. So in our view model here, we have the game details on the left and then a separate one on the right. So I guess what we're going to want to do is split this up into 2 columns and then leave this over here separate on the right. We shouldn't need to change the image video view model. So we're going to split this up to, so maybe call it 2-column. Try that. Copy that for now. What just happened? Why did it do that? That was weird. 2-column game details view model. 2-column. Okay. Now we can tweak the stuff. We're going to need a new view for it, which is really what we're going to be tweaking ultimately. So our game details view, we need to copy that guy. and rename this to 2-column game details view. And rename the class. And then also rename it here. Bingo. All right. So now we should be able to use this instead of the other one. So let's hook that up and then we can tweak the view. In our CoverFlow with details games view model, details. So we set, when a new game is selected, we set the game's details view model to, we're going to change this to 2-column game details view model. But the trick is that we haven't set this to the base class instead of the actual control. So we'll change that to base. And then the same thing with the root here, or the local variable. So now hopefully it builds and we didn't mess anything up. So we shouldn't see anything change here, but I just want to make sure that everything is still functional with all those changes before we start tweaking. All right. So looks, yeah, we're good there. Switch up the views, make sure we didn't screw anything up. That looks good. That does too. Oops. Yeah, we're good. So let's work on the ratio for this view here, and then move on to splitting out the columns and changing the data or the stuff that's displayed in our left-hand thing there. Veltias, this is the Android TV clone of Lean-Back UI and Material Design. This is a Material Design implementation of Confluence. Sure. Yeah, this looks nice. It's very different than what we got going, so I mean it would be, and there's also a lot less on the screen at a time. So I think this is more for in the future than stuff we're doing today. But it does look good, that's for sure. Taking a quick look at this stuff. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Cool. Some thoughts for the future for some new views. Makes sense. All right. Let's go back to our CoverFlow with details games view. Let's tweak these column widths. We also have too much space on top, I think. I noticed that. So maybe we need to change this to 2 and 2. Try that. Sure, no problem, Veltias. Okay, so here we are. We got 3, 44, 5, 52. So let's make this, say, 70, 75. Let's try 80. Try it there. I think we have too much separation in the middle here. Let's change this to 3. Maybe 4. And then we can split this. Except I'm thinking this isn't quite 3-way yet, is it? Let's try making it 85, 90. We'll try it with that. And then, of course, we need to adjust our new game details view, which is the 2-column game, oops, wrong one. 2-column game details view. So the question is, what all do we want to display? And then also, so we're going to need to switch this up to use 2 columns. Right now I'm just using a bunch of rows to do it. That's going to need to change. And then we're going to need to switch it up to use columns. So we're going to add grid.column definitions. Column definition, let's just say width equals 50. And we're going to need some separation in the middle. There, something like that. And then, of course, we're going to want to change all these, get rid of some stuff. We have title and details. Details, apparently we're just piling all the different attributes on top, but we have a limited height for them. That makes sense. So we cut them off. And then we have all the nice little images down here. And then the notes. So really, I think I'm going to try leaving all this stuff the way it is, but moving the notes to the middle column for now. We'll try that first. And I don't know that we'll stay with that approach, but it's a good start. So this is going to be. Now the other thing is we're going to want to, unfortunately, add a child grid for that. And then change this up. So here we go. It's going to be a little bit of restructuring here. Grid. And then we're going to move these row definitions into here. And the grid.column equals 0. Then all this stuff is going to need to move inside this child grid. Okay. And we're going to get rid of the bottom 2 rows. And then the text block for the notes. Actually, we want to leave that where it's at and just change the settings on it. So the grid.row is going to be, or we don't need grid.row, we need grid.column only. Column equals 2. So notes are over here, and then this whole big complicated details thing is on the left. Let's see what we get. Okay, it's a start. Not too bad. I'm not sure why we got that space on top there for the details. I mean for the title. I think this is the best we've seen so far. Still needs some tweaking. Hi, Bo. Welcome. I won't try and figure out whether you really made that in the wrong chat or you meant to say that. Hey, Brad, I didn't even know you were on. All right. Making the boxes wrap. I'm not sure. I think it might be difficult. Yeah. I'm not. I'll have to look. I think the different type of cover flow that I'm using doesn't lend itself as well to the wrapping. I'm not sure. Sure. I know what you mean. I think we need more mirror too. I had that same thought. I think it'd be nice to move everything up a little bit more. So we can take a look at that. Take a look at it here again. Like the end on the Z's to be to the left of the first one instead of nothing. Sure, I get it, DJ Quad. That makes sense. Yeah, Brad, I mentioned that earlier. I think I know why that is. I think there's just extra space in the Wii logo. Yeah, I do too. I'm going to try shrinking that top a little bit more here and see if that helps. I think we still have too much padding in between the boxes and the that might actually be a view change or a camera change. But yeah, let's work on that a little bit here. I got plenty of stuff to tweak. The first things first, let's go to our parent view, which is this guy. No, that's the model. Probably don't have it open. CoverFlow with details games view. And let's adjust these numbers a little bit. So we have 24 and 30. I'm going to say let's make this 20 and 30. Let's try that. All right. That's looking better a little bit. We still have too much of a gap. You know what? I don't think we need any gap down there at all, so we can just get rid of that padding. That will help. Give us a little bit more space here. I think we can get rid of this right here. And then we're going to need to adjust our, we have grid.row equals 1, and this needs to be grid.row equals 2 instead of 3. No, what scroll? Well, I'll take a look at the bugs, Brad, after I get done off of this stuff. For now, I'm just trying to get this view going, and then tomorrow and Friday, I'm going to be working on fixing any of the bugs and prepping for the 6.0 release. Yeah, that's looking better. Cool. Of course, we still have the issue with the reflections on the background art looking bad, but we'll get there. Do that probably after we do the other stuff with after we get this all tweaked and looking good. The other thing I think will help a lot is if we can change the animations, the transitions, to swipe from side to side instead of what it's doing right now. I think that will really help the presentation. Anybody else's video frozen, or is that just Veltias? Is it streaming okay? Okay. I think part of the issue there, Veltias, is it just takes a lot more bandwidth. Cool, that's great. It takes a lot more bandwidth because I'm streaming in 1080p now. So if your connection doesn't keep up, then it's going to be problematic. Great. I'm glad to hear that it's working well for 1080p. How does it look quality-wise? Is it a little bit too artifacty, or is it good quality? Is he? We need to work on the spacing for those things up above. Sure. Great. All right, so why do we have the spacing on the top of the title, for one thing? Let's take a look at that. Awesome. So we need our game details view, which is this 2-column game details view. So obviously it's not the grid, because the grid does go all the way up to the top. This first, oh, this is why. Gotcha. This is exactly why right here. We got to get rid of this. And then we're going to have to adjust all the positions for the rows. That's 0. And then this is going to be 2. Yep. Perfect. Let's give it a build. Stubble. Yes, I shaved a couple days ago. I tend to shave once every few months. I wait till it grows out and gets incredibly annoying, and then I shave it all off. And I'm so lazy that when I shave, I use an electric razor, and I don't even bother wet shaving. I don't even shave it low, because my personal appearance really matters to me a whole lot. Yeah, it will. Don't worry. It'll be back. Just give it time. My beard doesn't necessarily grow that quickly, but it'll get there. There we go. That's looking better. Cool. Progress. Let's take a look at Wii and take a look at those videos with the different aspect ratio. Probably passed it up. Looks alright. That's not too bad. This ain't too bad, really. What do you guys think? What do you guys think of this so far? What needs changed in this particular view, feasibly, before the 6.0 release? I know you guys mentioned the clear logo instead of the title up there, so we could do that. That's not that bad. Guess I better catch up on some of these comments. I actually like the clear logo in the view as well, like you had at the start. Sure, the clear logo for the platform, and then we also have the clear logo for the actual game. Yeah, in one of these days, obviously I'm going bald, so one of these days I'm going to have to shave my head, DJ Quad. I have the Steam buffering too now. Stream buffering, sure. That's awesome to hear. I'm glad it's looking slick, Veltias. Yeah, I'm liking it a lot more now that we have the 3 columns. Scrolling text for longer detail text. Okay, sure. That makes sense. I can look at and see what that would take. I'm not sure if we can do that before the 6.0 release or not. We'll have to take a look at that. We already have the complete logos, Brad. The title doesn't seem to exactly align to the text on the right. Yeah, the reason for that is because when you do different font sizes, it will it's not perfect. When you change the font size on the title, It is lined up perfectly, but when you change the font size, the tops of the fonts don't always match up because of the difference in the spacing around the fonts. But yeah, we can take a look at that, see if we can fix that somehow or other. But yeah, that bothered me too. Actually, it did. And it constantly bothers me because of the font kerning. Scrolling text and clear logos as the game title would be awesome. Sure. So we can work on those. What else? It would be nice. The one thing that would be nice is if we could somehow put in the name of this view like we have in the other views. So if we go in up here, you see at the top left, we have the fact that we're looking at the Super Nintendo Entertainment System. I'd really like to be able to do that, but I'm not sure how that would fit in. I'd never added that to this view either. But we have the Super Nintendo up there for this full screen CoverFlow. But I'm not sure if that would be if that would work or not anywhere on this view. It's really cool to have all these views now. It's awesome. All right. Oops, I've got to get to the code and do some of the nitty-gritty work to fix this the navigation here to be left and right. But that's boring stuff, so I'd rather wait to do that until after the session here. So let's get the clear logo in there. See if we can do that here first. Hey, Brad. Yeah, no kidding. Story of my life: starting games and never finishing them. But when I finish a game, man, it means it was a really good game. I'll tell you that. Lately, I'm playing Just Cause 3, and I'm not really that interested in the storyline or actually doing what I'm supposed to be doing. I just love flying through the air and blowing things up and being mean to people. So GTA, man, that's what I used to do with GTA. Now it's such a great game. I play through the whole game, but Just Cause 3, I'm just interested in going around and blowing things up. And I'm really enjoying that. But that's not a game I'm probably going to finish. Doom. Oh, I've been playing it on the hardest difficulty level. Okay, or not the hardest, but the hardest that's available by default. Oh yeah, GTA 5 is excellent. Uh, the hardest difficulty level, and I've been getting frustrated. I need to get back to Doom. I love the game. I should be playing it on the easier difficulty level, the regular, the normal, just because I'm getting frustrated. But I want to beat it on hard. But I should play it through on easy first, or normal first. I really should. Are you considering a fall off for the mirrored images? Hey, I'm missing some stuff. Let's go up a little bit. People can always choose a giant pic of an SNES console, for example, as fan art. Yep, absolutely. Are you considering a fall off for the mirrored images? What do you mean by a fall off? The Great White Moose. Yeah, GTA 5 is one of the best games ever made. Very much agree. Still hooked on Ark. I'm probably living in a hole or something, but I don't know what Ark is. I've heard of it before, but I don't remember. 2 links to examples above. Okay. I'm sorry, Great White Moose, but that's way up above. Where is that? There it is. Regarding colorful view, how do you think the reflection would look with a fall off instead of the full image? Gotcha. I found it. Sure. So you fade out the reflection, basically. Yeah, I like that. Let's pull these up. Yeah, I think that looks good. Experimenting with that is going to take some time. So we'll have to probably come back to that later. But yeah, I think that's great. That would definitely help the look of things. That's cool. All right, Critical Sid, maybe just put the name of the platform in plain text in a corner at the bottom, especially if you fade out a bit of the fan art at the bottom for better looking. Yeah, that's actually probably a good idea. Let's take a look at that. We should come up with a Red Dead Redemption sequel. Yeah, that's a game I haven't beaten Red Dead Redemption, but I enjoyed that game. That's a great game. Arc. Survival Evolved. Interesting. Wow, that looks pretty cool. I'll have to check that out. That's neat. Veltius, I totally know what you mean, man. Oh my goodness. Uh, I'm living the dream though now because well, the thing is I've got three kids and my three kids are finally old enough where they're not I don't have to watch them constantly. My youngest is 4. She just turned 4 recently, so I'm finally feeling like it's getting back to the point where I actually have some free time on my hands. I don't have. I'm not constantly having to be a parent 100% of the time, which is huge. So yeah, but I know what you mean. There you go. Rather we go to the gym than play games. Oh man, you got one of those high maintenance wives, don't you? No, I'm joking. But they're making a Red Dead Redemption prequel, really? Hmm. I've played the new Far Cry 4, and I tell you what, it's neat. It's huge. There's all kinds of stuff. Yeah, you can skin animals. Um, the funny thing about Far Cry 4 is it's like, to me, um, it's like playing back in the day. I'm gonna get all kinds of flack for this, but it's like playing Rise of the Triad or something from back in the day that does all kinds of neat new stuff that nobody else is doing, but has no charm. I don't know what it was about Far Cry 4. The charm just wasn't there for me. It didn't keep me intrigued enough. Even though there's all kinds of features, it's incredible everything you can do. It's not like uh, Tomb Raider where there's all kinds of charm and you're interested in everything and you want to continue. Um, yeah, yeah, Rise of the Triad, drunk missiles, absolutely. Um, but I don't know. It's the difference between Rise of the Triad and Doom, for example. Doom has charm. Everybody wants to keep playing Doom. You get hooked in a second. For me, I didn't get hooked like that with Rise of the Triad. I didn't get hooked like that with Far Cry 4. Even like um, Just Cause 3 that I've been playing is incredibly fun to go around and just blow things up. Unfortunately, with Far Cry 4, I didn't get that same drive to keep playing it. Anyways, back to what we're doing here. Let's go. NES. And I can do a lot of this stuff after we get done streaming, so it doesn't really matter how much we get done right now. Obviously, I do need to add the alphabet stuff in here as well. Get the clear logo in there. Clean up a little bit of the spacing, maybe. Try adding the platform clear logo at the bottom. So those are the kind of stuff I'm going to work on and tweak. But yeah, it's looking pretty good, I think. And then, of course, the fading the fan art at the bottom so the reflections actually make sense. So stuff like that. We'll see how much of that I can wrap up today before the end of the day, because I got a full day of work ahead of me yet. We were going to jump on the clear logos. We still got an hour left in the stream, though, too. So, yeah, I'm talking about Far Cry 4. I haven't played Primal, actually. Sorry if I was confusing there. Oh man, okay, you guys are gonna burn me after saying this. So I put significant. I will preface this saying I've never gotten into the Fallout series. Never gotten into the Fallout series. But I picked up Fallout 3 for or Fallout 4, is it? Yeah, it's Fallout 4, isn't it? For I should know that. For Xbox One. And like I said, you guys are going to hate me, but I could not get into that game. I just couldn't get into it. Now you have to understand my perspective of like RPGs. I'm not versed in RPGs, because I really only just started getting into RPGs recently, to be completely honest. I've shied away from RPGs because in the past it's just been like, this isn't interesting. I'm not interested in going around and being a person and doing all the mundane stuff with an RPG. But so like 6-8 months ago, something like that, I got into Skyrim, and I'm like, this is the best game I've ever played, and got obsessed with Skyrim for a while, and so that changed my perspective on RPGs. But now every single RPG I play, I compare to Skyrim, and Fallout 4 to me sucks compared to Skyrim. It's nowhere near as good as Skyrim. The graphics even suck. To me, Skyrim looks better than Fallout 4, so I can't. I just couldn't get into it. I'll probably give it another shot eventually, but man, I could not get into Fallout 4. So, what am I going to do? Yeah, it does seem like it is a lot of dedication, absolutely. But I don't mind doing dedication as long as it keeps me interested. Super Mario RPG. I haven't put. I shied away from that. I haven't put any real time into that game. Yeah, I've shared with you guys in the past. Unfortunately, when I was a kid, I had decent computers, but I never even had a console when I was a kid, so I missed out on all the good nostalgia, Nintendo and Sega nostalgia from when I was a kid. I mean, I went over to kids' houses all the time and played the stuff, and I loved it. I always wished I had one, but I didn't get the time in front of the systems like a lot of people did. Yeah, Brad, I knew I would get your goat when I talked about Fallout 4. Yeah, open world I mean, it has its advantages and negatives. I don't. Some games lend themselves really well to open world, and other games they try and do it in open world, and it just kind of ruins it. So yeah, I know what you mean. It depends very much. I remember Far Cry 2 was one of the first shooter open world games I played, and I loved that game when I first played it. But then it got old because it was the same thing over and over and over again. So yeah, that was one of the games that was sort of kind of made worsened by the open world that I played. Thank you, Brad. I really appreciate your positivity and your contributions to this chat and this live streaming experience. All right, cool. Yeah, let's try and get a clear logo in here. So instead of the title, we need both the title and the clear logo in case, and I need to switch this up. We need to go to the 2-column game details view. We have text block title. We need to put in another thing here for an image. Image name equals title logo. Or let's just make it logo. And we don't need text. We need visibility. Binding logo visibility. Don't need a font. Font weight. We don't need foreground. We don't need text wrapping. We need doc panel.doc equals top. There we go. And let's do that. And then as far as the actual image, how do we do that elsewhere? Just to save me some time, save us some troubleshooting. If we take a look at the list, the text list view, maybe? Yeah, we have this image up here for the logo. We need this render options, bitmax scaling mode, high quality. But other than that, it will automatically bind it, looks like. Okay. And then we need a couple new properties. We need to take a look at title visibility and logo visibility and logo in our model for the, I'm just going to put this in the base, and just in case we want to add this to, well, no, let's do it in the child class for our game details model. We need our game details view models, our 2-column game details view model. We need a new property. I don't think we have a property for logo in here. Nope. And logo visibility. What about title visibility? We do have title visibility. Public. I think it's just a string we use. Yeah, public string logo. Or no, we're using an object, and we use that not set stuff. Logo. Let's make this easy. Get private object logo. Return this dot logo. No, this dot logo or property dependency property dot unset value, which basically it sets it to the unset value instead of null if it's null. This dot logo equals value, and we're going to make this a string. Logo equals value dot toString. There we go. And then, actually though, if this dot logo, this is where it gets tricky, equals null, and now we don't need all that. Let's just do this. If this dot logo equals value, return. This dot notify of property change. This dot logo. So there's our logo property, and then all right. We need logo visibility, public visibility, logo visibility, get do we need? Yeah, we should do it that way. So private visibility, logo visibility, get return this dot logo visibility, set this dot logo visibility equals value, and this dot notify property change this dot logo visibility. There we go. What's the issue here? Oh, let's do that. Okay. Now we just need to set those when we change, when we populate the view. And if we take a look at the base, we set all this stuff in the constructor. Oh, so we have show game title, I see. Gotcha. So we're going to need to basically just put this in the constructor. It's nice and simple. We get the game and we get the filter type. So this is simple. We're going to have to change some of this up. So string clear logo equals game.get clear logo file path. If string.isNull or empty, clear logo file path, or clear logo path, then we're going to do this right here. We need to make that protected, I guess. Oh, it's public. What's the problem? Set accessors. I see. I get it. Get rid of this. Let's make this protected. Okay, and then the title's already been populated at this point. Otherwise, oops, we just need to set this dot logo equals clear logo path, and then this dot clear logo or logo visibility equals this guy, and set title visibility visibility.collapsed, and here logo visibility collapsed. There, in theory, that'll do it. All right. Okay. All right. You're probably going to want to limit the height of that thing, because otherwise it takes up too much space. But it's there, and the title shows up if there's no logo. Wonder how we're going to limit the height. All right. I got to figure out how to limit that height in that image. I think there's a max height. Yeah, definitely. I like the eye candy. It's better. So let's go to our view, though. And our logo here. Max height equals. Now, because we're doing things so everything works on all the screens, we should probably do this in the code behind and make it a ratio of the screen height, which is how I have been adapting everything to various different screens. So I'm going to say this.logo.maxHeight equals screen height divided by, if we take a look at the we're going to have to experiment with this a bit, but for now I'm going to say 8 divided by 80.0. Well, let's do some math. So typical screen height is 1080p, so we're looking at 1080. What's 1080 divided by 80? It's 13 pixels. That's not going to be near enough. So if we divide by 40, it'll be double that. 26 is probably still not going to be enough. Let's try let's try 20 divided by 20. 25. See what that looks like. Hopefully the max height works. It does. Unfortunately, though, it's centered. We want it to be left aligned, so we'll have to work with that. It's also way too small. Come on, where's the clear logo? There we go. Well, let's adjust it. I think it should probably be twice that big. So let's divide it by 13. And then in our XAML, right there, I'm going to say horizontal alignment equals left. And hopefully that will work. That's getting better. I think it might be a little small, and we need some margin on there. Yeah. It's going to have to be a little bigger than that. So let's start with a margin. We do that again in the code behind. We have a margin here. I'm going to say this.logo dot margin is the same as the title. And also it needs to be a little bigger. Let's try 10. Yeah, that looks good. Not bad. One of the issues we have is some of these clear logos have a bunch of space. And so when you see an image like this that isn't at the top, it's cut off. I mean, or it only fills a portion of it. Is because whoever made the clear logo unfortunately didn't trim the image properly. So that's something that's going to plague us. It'd be nice if I had, or like that where it's not left aligned. It's again because somebody didn't trim the image properly. So it'd be nice if we could trim it automatically, but at the same time, I don't have that built to be able to do that quickly. But yeah, that looks good. It definitely adds a lot to the view to have that, I think. When you put the platform logo in one of the bottom corners, maybe you could put the symbols for rating, portable, etc. in the other so you have more space with clear logo. That's a good idea, actually. Yeah, that's a really good idea. I think we're going to have to make more space on the bottom, though, in order to put that stuff down there. But we can do that. It's not a big deal. That's easy enough to do. Yeah, I think that's a great idea, actually. Thanks, Sid. Hey, Vissy. Yeah, I know what you mean, Brad. All right. From here, I could try scrolling the text, but that's going to be a big job, so I don't want to tackle that right now. We could try moving stuff to the bottom right-hand corner, putting the SNES, or I mean the NES logo down there, and then the same thing with the favorite and the E. All this stuff is rated E when the ESRB wasn't even around when this stuff came out. We got to fix that some of that data. That's always bugged me. Yeah, that looks really nice. Yeah, if all the logos looked that good, it'd be awesome. And again, we have a spacing issue there. So yeah, we need to work on some of these clear logos, but good progress. Let's see if we can get the platform clear logo on the bottom. Ah, so we need to get the clear logos from Hyperspin then, huh? And put them on the games database if we can without pissing people off. Yeah, my favorites for NES, like I said, I'm not an NES expert, so my favorites for NES basically are me going through a bunch of YouTube videos for the best NES games and marking all those as favorites. I don't think it does. Basically, what the LaunchBox Games Database has for NES right now is literally what people manually updated to the games database back in the day. So yeah, it doesn't have all the same stuff, and that's one nice thing about having our own database is I am able to take a big collection and just dump it all in one go myself to correct all this stuff. So yeah, that's huge. That's a big deal. Oh, you do have to pay for it. All right. Well, good point, K Money. If you got to pay for it, then we definitely can't do that, unfortunately. That's all hairy, gray area crap. but whatever. I don't want to get into a discussion on that right now. All right, so it's noon. We got like a half hour. Let's see if I can get the logo in the bottom right. If we pull up this, we don't want the details. We want our actual parent view, CoverFlow with details, games view. And what I can do, this is in a canvas, so we can put it down here. Put another image. We're going to copy the logo from somewhere else. Let's steal it from the CoverFlow games view. There it is. And we have this logo right here. I'm going to copy that guy. And put it down here. We're going to rename this to platform logo. And then we have to set the spacing and such on that guy and the position. If we take a look at the what we got going on here, I'm going to copy all this stuff. Paste that in here. Now obviously we don't need this. Platform logo. Dot margin. New thickness. Let's import that. Margin. Actually, we only need a bottom and a right margin. So I don't remember the order of these. Left, top, right, bottom. So 0, 0. We'll leave this for now the way it is. Oh, interesting. Oops. Let's try that here first. Okay. And then we have max width and max height on the logo. Yeah, well, we're going to need that, so let's try leaving that there. And then canvas, let's set bottom. Okay, we're going to need that eventually once I add the index, but for now we're going to say canvas dot set bottom this dot platform logo 0. Actually, we can put this stuff on the. Oh, we got the margin though. We don't really need the margin. What we need is the bottom to be set. So yeah, let's no, we don't need to do that. I think we just need to set the alignment on it and then set the margin. I think that's the best way to do it. So under here, let's set horizontal alignment equals right and vertical alignment equals bottom. Hopefully that works. All right, what do we got here? Interesting. Sure. it could be that, yeah, I don't know. That's true. We are getting this stuff from EV Movies. People can get this stuff. My collection might not have it all, though. That's possible. So yeah, it could be that I've got the wrong clear logos and I need to get it off from EV Movies. It'd be nice to get the best stuff in our games database, but you know we can only do what we can do. So it could be that my NES doesn't have all the latest stuff from EMU Movies. Oh, well, we added it, but we haven't set the image to anything. We haven't added it to our view model. So let's do that. If we take a look at our CoverFlow with game details, or with details games view model, let's take a, first off, let's do this because we're already doing this here. Let's figure out where we're doing it. Logo. Right here. Let's just copy this. But where do we set it? That's what I wanna know. Okay. Sure. Oh, the other thing is we kind of need to support it being a title too instead of a logo if darn it. We need a platform title text field as well as the logo because it's not always just platforms. It could be that we're on a genre, for instance, that doesn't have an image. So platform also isn't the right name for it. We need filter logo and filter title. So let's go back, do it right the first time. If I can get back to my view, CoverFlow with details games view. So not only do we need this, we also need a text block. We can copy that from this again. We have our image and we have our text block. Now this needs changed to filter logo. And this needs to become filter title. Binding filter logo visibility, filter title visibility. So we got quite a bit to add here. But that's okay. Won't take too long. And then in our code behind, we need to rename this to filter. And then we have to add additional stuff for the title. And that's all in the original CoverFlow one as well. Game title. Oh, you know what? I don't know that I did that properly for the CoverFlow. Shoot. Title and game title. Do I set title though? Oh yeah, we set them the same. That's why. Good. So we need those three. The margin, the max width, the max height. Yeah, that's all good to go. Some of this stuff is going to need to change. This dot filter title dot font size, that should be correct. Padding, we don't need padding, I don't think. We just need a little bit of margin, and the margin should be the same as this. So this dot filter title dot margin equals. So I'm going to get rid of these. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I need to work on the Emu Movies matching. Unfortunately, Emu Movies has to. I'm relying on their engine to do the search matching to a certain to a certain extent, but and it's not perfect. But I think there are ways to trick it to improve it. So I need to get back to that and see if we can improve the matching there, any, because that could be part of the problem. Yeah. All right. We got that implemented. Now we need to get filter logo and filter title going in the view model. So this is in the filters view models. No, it's not filters view models. It's games view models. CoverFlow with details games view model. And we need, this stuff is going to be populated in the constructor, really. But we need a public string filter title. I'm just going to, I don't think this stuff never changes, thankfully. So we don't need anything special for the properties. And then we also need public string or public object filter logo. We still have that dependency property crap to deal with there. And then filter title visibility and filter logo visibility. Public visibility, filter title visibility. Come on now. I get so tired of that. There we go. And then public visibility, filter logo visibility. Get and set. Yeah, there's some. Hey, Brock, welcome. There's some. I do some fuzzy matching, and Emu Movies does some fuzzy matching in that API. Yeah, I do a lot of that already. The Great White Moose, but there's always more you can do. It's just. I mean, you got to be careful with performance. The more stuff you do, and then also just adding all the code in order to make it happen. We do have a lot of that in place already. Okay, we got our 4 properties, and then in our constructor, do we have more than one constructor? I guess we've only got one. That's good. Are we using an init method? I think we are. Yeah. Sure, Brock. Okay, init. So we should do this in the init methods. And we should just steal this from here, in theory. Go down to our init. We set the title and the game title changes. Where's the logo being set though? Oh, it's not. It's only being set for the platforms, of course. All right, that makes sense. So let's go back here, and then no, that's not. That's details. Let's clear some of this stuff out. There we go. So this is the filters. This is the platforms. Well, we're setting the logo and the title. We're already doing that. We're going to change this to filter logo and filter title. And then I'm going to set the this dot filter logo visibility. Where are we setting that? I probably have that automatically in there somewhere. Oh well, I don't feel like restructuring this stuff. So if this dot filter logo equals null, if string dot is null or empty, filter logo dot toString, then else. So those are our two situations. This dot filter logo equals dependency property dot unset, and then this dot filter visibility, filter logo visibility equals collapsed, and this dot title, filter title visibility equals visible. Then down here, we're going to set filter, just these, nothing special. Filter logo visibility is visible, and title visibility is collapsed. Okay. So that's for platforms. And then it's simpler for, oh man, I'll be right back, guys. Hold on. All right. Just having trouble focusing because my kids are in the next room screaming. Okay. So here we are. For initting for the filters, it's just a little bit different here. I'm going to copy that out. From here, we set the filter title. And then we do this situation right here. Because we don't have any logos for anything other than the platforms right now. Eventually we might, but for right now we don't. Yeah, I saw that, Veltias. Thank you. I'll take a look at that when I get to it here. Like I said, we do have. Oh yeah, this is to get rid of the special characters. That's right. Yeah, that's one thing I haven't done. So I will take a look at that code when I get to implementing that ticket for sure. Because I think that will come in handy. I didn't have a solution for that, so I appreciate it. I think we're set. Hopefully, let's give it a shot. Okay. You back, Brock? You got your coffee yet? Where's my logo? It's not here. Folder structure. I was wondering, instead of having images and videos folder, could it be media instead, which would hold everything regarding art and videos organized like it currently is by platform? We could, but that'd be a problem for a lot of reasons. It would be major restructuring for me to do that, because right now we're not filtering those videos by, we're not filtering everything by file extension, and I think we'd have issues with searching the folders would take longer. Performance would be an issue. So yeah, we could put a media folder in there and then move everything nested inside the media folder. So you could go media and then videos and media and then images. But I don't think we could easily filter out everything into the same folders, unfortunately, because it's the more files you put in the folder, the more time it takes to loop through the entire folder to find the files that you need. And so for performance reasons, we got to keep it separate, I think. But yeah, it would be nice to clean up the folders as much as possible. We've already done a ton of work to clean up those folders. So I'm pretty happy with what we have. I know some people would rather us use the ROM file names instead of the titles. And we allow you to use them, but we don't do that by default, and we don't allow you to change that right now as far as imports. But generally, I think we're doing a pretty good job with the folder structure and all that stuff. The other thing people have suggested in the past that they'd like to see is they want to keep all the media in with the ROMs. And you can do that right now for the most part, sort of, because you can change all the folders for each platform. But we wanted to do that automatically, but that got really complicated when it comes to different types of games like PC games, Steam games, and stuff like that. There's just a lot of issues there, so chose not to go that route. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with how we've structured all that stuff for the most part. Anyways, so we don't have this stuff showing up, and I'm trying to figure out why. I know why. I know exactly why. This dot notify of property change. It's nice when that happens. This dot filter title. This dot notify of property change. This dot filter logo. Notify of property change. This dot filter title visibility, and notify of property change. This dot filter logo visibility. I jump back and forth between putting this stuff in the properties and being lazy and not putting them in the properties. I should probably be consistent, but you know, I'm not the best at that all the time. Yep, a lot of people already have their media synced. That's right. Yeah, so we can't really change that stuff up that easy. It's a lot of the last time we changed this stuff up, I had to build a whole process on startup of LaunchBox to move things around to the proper places. And frankly, it's a miracle I pulled that off without running into major issues. That was when 5.0 came out, I think. We restructured the entire folders, and so I had to build a whole migration process, and I don't plan on doing that again. Oh, okay, good. We have it displayed. It's just not in the right spot. No problem, Brock. I don't mean to shoot you down, so sorry if I came off a little bit hard on that. So, why is it in the top left instead of the bottom right? That's the trick. So we got to figure out how to move that. That should be just in the view. We have horizontal right alignment right and vertical alignment bottom. I think the issue here is that it's a canvas and canvas doesn't support that stuff. So I think what we're going to have to do is do this differently. Ah, sure. Cool, Brock. Yeah, Critical said that the meager import from was from a long time ago. So that makes sense. So we need to use this canvas.setBottom and setRight stuff, I think. Instead of the margin, let's try that. So canvas.setBottom, this.filterTitle, screen height minus screen height divided by, let's just try 60 first. I don't really need those parentheses. I'm going to put 60.0. Oops. See issue. No, I don't want that. I want the actual type. Darn thing. What is the type? System Windows Controls.canvas. There we go. And the same thing for filter logo. And then we need the same thing for set right. And we're going to have to tweak these values. And I think we can just get rid of these margins. I don't think that really helps anything. We're going to have to tweak all these values, but hopefully this will get it in the right spot for the most part. Tabs or spaces. You know, I have gone back and forth on that so many times. I'll tell you what. When I was working with so Perbyte was my last employer, and it was started by a buddy of mine doing software consulting for associations. His name is Josh Carlson. He's incredibly intelligent. Working with him was one of the best things ever. I got to work from home, and it was just me and him for a while working on this stuff. And man, other than working for myself like I'm doing now on gaming related stuff, there was no better job out there. So I have been really blessed with my job positions. But anyways, he liked small compressed code. He didn't like the 4 spaces for the tabs. He likes the 2 spaces for the tabs. So what we did in our Visual Studios was we changed Visual Studio settings to use tabs instead of the spaces. And he was able to configure in his Visual Studio to use 2 spaces for the tabs, and mine I was able to use 4. So in that case, tabs really helped us both be able to use the same code, but have different visual styles for each of us. So that was huge. So in that regard, I like tabs. However, outside of that situation, you know what? Ultimately, I like tabs. I've always liked tabs. I don't like the Visual Studio default where it's spaces. I think it's annoying because anytime I backspace, I've got a backspace over all 4 spaces. So yeah, I prefer tabs in general, I think. Although, oh, that's odd. I probably did something wrong with my math. Set bottom. Or maybe I just need to do, what happens if I do it like this? Maybe I'm confused as far as how this works. I bet I am. I haven't seen that show. But yeah, that's cool. That's funny. I bet I'd really enjoy that. I don't watch a lot of TV, so I always end up, playing games or coding instead. The last show I really got into, there it is. It's in the bottom right at least. The last show I really got into was The Office. So that shows you how much I watch TV these days. But The Office is probably my favorite show of all time. So we need a little bit of a margin, and it's also the visibility for some reason isn't working properly there. So I'll look at that. Probably just don't have the property set right. And it's too big. We'll have to decrease the size. I like to hear that. I hate The Big Bang Theory. I hate it. I can't stand that stupid show for that exact reason. It just seems so stupid and dumb to me. So yeah, there you go. I don't like Hollywood's interpretation of our field. Um, I did like though. There's a show I can't remember the name of it. Never mind. It's another British show. The IT something or other. The platforms folder is important, Brock, actually, because it has all the images for the platforms, and yes, they are included with LaunchBox, but it loads them. The IT crowd, that's right. Anyways, the images are included with LaunchBox, but they're loaded from that. They have to be extracted from the LaunchBox exe, and so that folder is important so that they can live there. Yeah, it is on Netflix. That's a good show. I watched that show front to back and enjoyed it. Not near as much as The Office, but I did enjoy it. All right, so where are we at here? We need to decrease the size of the logo and probably the text. I'm going to maybe make this 50. Start with that. And then the filter logo max height, I'm going to do divided by 12. And we'll try divided by 5 there for the logo and the title. And then we need screen height divided by 100. Let's try for these, for starters. Okay. And it is about time to wrap up here. But hopefully we can get this looking decent before I do. I'll tweak it. I got a bunch of stuff to tweak. I'll be working on this all day. And if we're lucky, I'll have a new beta out tonight before the end of the day. If not, it'll be out tomorrow. There we go. That's a good size. It looks good. Man, I really like that. That was a great idea, Critical Set. I appreciate that. Obviously, we need to get rid of that, the duplication there. So I'll do that here quick. What's the issue with this? Visibility, filter title, visibility. That should be correct. So what am I doing wrong? It must be in my view model. Filter title, visibility. With details gains view model, filter. Oh, we don't set it. Yeah, we do. It's down here. But I do this in the wrong spot. That's the issue. You fool! There we go. Bingo. All right. Oh, it kind of pops in funny. But yeah. That looks really nice. And we don't even need really a gap. Although it might be nicer with a gap. I'm not sure. We'll have to look. But yeah, that looks good. if we, for kicks and giggles, let's go and view genres, for example, and go down to platform. There it is. Yeah, that doesn't look too bad. Looks pretty good. Then the icons. I don't know. I'm torn on that. I'll have to experiment with that later and see how that looks. Obviously, we've got a lot of tweaking to do yet, but it's starting to look pretty good, I think. Cool, guys. That's weird. Why is K Money's comment red like that to me? I don't understand. I don't know. Oh, because he mentioned me. Duh. Here's a link to the LaunchBox forum over at Rocket Launch's website if you'd like to ask about an official plugin. Thank you. Appreciate that, K Money. I'll check that out. I'll talk to them, hopefully talk to them later today. Prefer that to the wheel. To be honest, I have too many nightmares with hyperspan, and when I see a wheel, I come out in a cold sweat. Thanks, Brock. I'm glad this view is going to get some use. All right, guys, it's been fun. Appreciate all the feedback, and I think we did pretty well with this. Really, I'm pretty pleased with it. So I'll get this wrapped up today and get a new beta out hopefully tonight, if not tomorrow. And we will go from there. I'm hoping to put out the official maybe around the end of the week. Maybe by I think what I'm going to do is put out this next beta, and then I'll send over all the text to be translated to our awesome community translator people, and hopefully we can get the release out. And I'll be fixing bugs while they're translating everything, and hopefully we can get the release out this weekend or maybe early next week. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Great White Moose and K Money. Appreciate it. Take it easy.